Hi, guys. Happy Saturday. I'm Cynthia Gordon, representing Whole, Women Helping Others Live Empowered. So, this Saturday's video, I kind of brought up disappointment last week, and I want to spend some time with it. So, let's talk about it. Disappointment, not a way of life, but certainly a part of life. I don't care who you are, what your title is, what your economic background is, race, politics, whatever. We've all been disappointed. So it's just so much happening right now. And so while this video isn't just about politics, certainly I do want to spend some time there. I have to. I have to with all that's going on right now. So let's talk about it. So, again, I talked about disappointment a bit last week and even in an earlier video 4 months ago. But as I watch these elections, like most of you, again, we are seeing some things we've not seen before. So let's talk about some elections. Let's talk about times in which it took more than just election day for us to know the results. And I'm going way back, and then I'll bring it up a little closer. 1916, it took 2 weeks before Woodrow Wilson was declared president. 1948, Dewey was announced to be the probable winner. Then reports says that Dewey stayed up until on November 3rd until 8:30 a.m., poring over the returns before taking a 2-hour nap and then studying the vote counts one more time and then sending a congratulatory telegram to Truman. Because that's what grown-ups do when we lose. 1960, John F. Kennedy held a narrow lead over Republican Vice President Richard Nixon as returns came during the evening of November 8. And early on November 9, Illinois swung back and forth until late that night before Nixon conceded defeat. Democratic Vice President Al Gore and Texan Republican Governor George W. Bush squared off in the most, it's called the most bitterly contested election since 1876. The election night came down to Florida, whose electoral votes would put one of the candidates in the White House. But confusion regarding the outcome in the Sunshine State continued for more than a month, and it was on December 12th with a 5-4 vote. The U.S. Supreme Court decision ended the recounts in Florida and effectively gave the election to Bush. Never in American history has a president refused to leave the White House. There's only been 10 U.S. presidents that weren't reelected for a second term. But it's happened. This is not the first time. And it's not finished. We don't know who's going to win after all. Looks like Biden, may be Biden. Here's the deal, people. And this isn't just about politics, but disappointment at its core happens to us all. But this video, with every video, I think it all comes back to us. Yes, clearly what we're seeing is, to me, embarrassing. It really is. And unfortunately, I don't see it as getting better or being resolved. I don't see, if Mr. Trump does not win, I don't see him ready to concede or make this easy. And I'm not saying that there shouldn't be recounts when necessary. Not at all. Uh, there are rules wrapped around all of this. If it's too tight of a race, then a recount is automatic. All of that's fine. But the point of this video is while watching that while watching what's going on nationally, that we look inside of ourselves. How are you handling disappointment? How are you showing your children to handle disappointment? You know what? There's always a loser in every game. What makes you think it has to be you that's the winner? Where does that sense of entitlement come from? Because really and truly, not even in every game does the strongest win, not the fastest, not the most skilled. There are a lot of things at play. But how do you respond? What are you teaching your children? What examples are you setting? And if you are a Christian, how are you behaving? So as we watch these elections, and no matter who you voted for, who you believe is the best candidate, how do you act when you're at the grocery store? How do you act? Are you acting when you leave your house? And are you walking out the house with a "I wish a MF would" attitude? Say something to me, pop off, whatever you're saying. And you know what? I'm just asking questions that prayerfully make you think, because I'm watching my own attitude. I'm watching my own want to fight. I dare you to say something attitude, because no matter what you believe, no matter how holy you can get caught at the wrong time, and it's not going to be good. So a friend of mine wrote this, and I told her I would most likely be sharing it this week. So let me read this, because I think that it's awesome. And it's truly my prayer. So let me get to it in all my notes. And again, this is about life. It's not just about this election. It's really about disappointment. It's really about loss. It's really about your own behavior. It's about getting better, whole. Women helping others live empowered. It's not just even about women. It is empowering each other to be better. Calling you out, calling me out when we are wrong. Because again, it's not a black and white thing. It's not a Democratic thing versus Republican. It's just right and wrong. So yes, as I am referring to what we're watching on the news and what's happening with the election, that's just giving us a mirror to look in. And how do we act and how to respond in regard to it, the election, as well as any other time we're disappointed. So a friend of mine wrote, "May the God in me always be bigger than the flesh on me." So a shout out to Katrina Thomas for that. That's truly my prayer. God, can you rise up in me and be bigger than my flesh? Because my flesh wants to be angry. I want to meet darkness with darkness, hate with hate. I can fight in the natural. So I don't mind. One of my friends say, throwing these hands. My niece used to say that. Anybody can get it. I don't want that anymore. And my prayer is that while that is in there, God help me, crucify my flesh and let the God in me be bigger than the flesh on me. I love that, Katrina. I thank you for that, because it really sums up my prayer for God to crucify my flesh. It really does. So, again, our flesh wants to be in control, and it wants to just meet all this negativity, anger with anger. But I pray for you, me, and everyone else. I pray for this president I pray for the next president and all the others to come behind him, that we stand up as a nation. And the Bible calls for us to adhere to the laws of the land and respect our leaders and all of that. And what's so awesome for us Christian people is to know that it doesn't matter who the president is, our God is king. If you're not a Christian, can we live in peace? Can we realize that we must coexist? Can we do our part to not be a part of the problem? So win, lose, or draw, how do you behave when you're disappointed? What gives us that sense of entitlement that thinks that we want to kill people, and maybe not physically kill? Some want to do that as well, but that if we lose, then we are killing people with our words, that we are just creating havoc all over the place. Again, in terms of the political elections that are going on, never have a president refused to leave the White House, and all of these things that have been threatened. Yes, presidents have asked for recounts. Again, like I stated earlier, there's been recounts in the past, and there is a way to do everything. So, again, this is not just about politics. This is about life and about peace and about right versus wrong. I hope you will join me and pray for yourself to be better. Pray for this country. Pray for those around you. Pray for us all to accept others when their beliefs and opinions are different than ours. Learn to have disappointment without destruction. How about that? It's so vital to this world that we realize that we need each other. We need each other. And so my prayer for you and I is that no matter the disappointment, that we handle it in a way that doesn't meet the rest of the world with destruction, that we are able to move on, that we're able to be okay with loss, with disappointment, with anger, that we do something. And again, I'm rolling with prayer, that we can pray, that we learn what to do with that anger. Yeah, you get disappointed, no matter what it is. Again, it's not only about these elections. It could be anything. It could be the parking space at the Walmart that someone gets before you. But how do you respond? And how do you respond in that parking lot situation with your kids or grandkids in the back seat? This is about life. It's not just about the elections. So, again, I pray for you. I pray for me. I pray for this nation. I really pray that we think about how we are handling the things that we are seeing, and the things that we're seeing in this president and in this country. How much of that is a mirror to you and your behavior, your thought process, and what you're showing the children or even the people in your midst? Husbands, stand up and lead your families. Mothers and fathers, lead your children to be a better person for not only your household and theirs to come, but this whole world. Anyway, that's what I got for this Saturday. And I truly am praying for you and I and this nation and this world, because unfortunately, the predictions are that it's going to get worse before it gets better. But I trust a true and living God that at the end of the day, we win. So I love you. I love you. I love you. I pray that you have a happy Saturday on purpose. God bless.